welcome to today's episode of Healthy Living, Happy Midlife. I'm Denise Seagal, the menopause mentor, and I am so excited to have my friend Sarah as a special guest today. So let me tell you a little bit about Sarah. Miss Sarah Sparks is the creatrix of the healed process and the channel of the 144 wealth codes. She is the only mentor in the world who carries the 4 components required to align the soul of business with the business of the soul. The missing piece, PEACE, that brings wholeness, clarity, and defines success. Through her work, leaders, entrepreneurs, and organizations finally experience what it means to make money doing what they love, all the while building cultures and legacies rooted and soul alignment and prosperity. So welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Denise.
Absolutely. I am excited for our conversation.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
I just read your bio and I know you a little bit more deeply than that. So I would like for you to share with our audience who Sarah is, how you got to be this amazing creatrix.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yes. So I'm a farm raised, college educated, former local government employee turned business owner who just happened to no longer be ashamed of her spiritual gifts. Stepped fully into them, came out of the spiritual closet back in 2018. Didn't even want to say the word channeling because I didn't want to be seen as some psychic reader at a circus is my stereotype that I had in my head. Wrong, but I judged my own self from that. So I wanted to be taken seriously. I personally feel like I am a perfect blend of strategy and spirituality. And I didn't want to give up on my master's degree in public administration and my HR and training design development. Like that's a part of me that I love. And I love designing and training modules. And I love putting together ideas. And I have this unique gift that I can see an issue or an organization or a person's life from an eagle point of view, like a spanned out
30,000 foot.
Yeah. And then I can go in and narrow down what are the missing pieces that are happening within their organization, within their lives, within their soul, within their health, yada, yada, and to help them feel complete. So I'm also very grateful that I am curious and I see an idea that I receive all the way through to the end. So that's a little bit about me. But now I live in beautiful South Carolina near the mountains. I'm a mom of 2 girls. I'm in my 40s. Woke up last night, good old almost 4 o'clock, and I experienced hot flashes, and my husband is beginning to understand all of this. So
we're working on a project, Sarah, to help.
I know. I will randomly voice message you and be like, include this.
Please do. Well, I think what you do is really fantastic because so often, in those of us who have business background and business experience, we're so ingrained in that way of thinking that we actually can't think outside the box, even though that's something we talk about in business, right? Thinking outside the box. This is outside the box. Who are you? What are you about? And why are you doing the work that you're doing if it's not in alignment? So I think
and in alignment with your soul. And there's also the energy of you, the leader of the business. There's the energy of the executive team. And there's also the energy of the entire business itself. And there's also your own soul's calling. So I view and interpret and strategize all components of that because I feel like what is missing is soul or energy and the essence of who the individual and the company and why it exists, and again, like you said, why we do what we do,
And as you say that, it makes sense. When we start a business, whoever starts a business that has employees and managers, whoever it is, if we don't have the vision and understanding of why we're doing what we're doing, how can we expect the people that are working with us and for us to understand that either?
For sure.
So it's interesting how you mentioned the energy of each of those components, each of those people, all of those people, how that actually can expand a business or contract it.
For sure. We narrow down, myself and my team narrow down, how does the business want to be fulfilled? Who does it want to align with? What is its desires? What is its focus? And then we go into the individual and ask those same 4 components. That was part of the intro that you're talking about. Those were given to me. And that, when I say given to me, I channel them. I have dedicated my life to being a clear channel for divine to work through. And essentially, I want everyone to be making money doing what they love, and also walking back home to themselves. I have been a person on the side that I was completely in purpose, but no money, or I was in all money, but no purpose.
Yeah.
And then I somehow I had purpose and meaning and money, and then I still wasn't aligned. I got caught up in what other people were wanting from me, in the algorithm of things, what society was saying that I need to be presenting myself as. Still, I was like, ooh, I'm still soulful, I'm still successful, woo, yay. But I wasn't aligned with what I came here with, my own personal message that I am here to do. And that's the aligning the soul of the business with the business of the soul.
How did you realize that was the case?
I had complete burnout.
Ah.
I did not care any longer if I channeled for anyone, if I helped anyone. I found myself being more invested in my client's success than they were. And that awareness stemmed from a wound that I had. And there was a quote that ignited the whole healed process, the Creatrix of the healed process and all that stuff that you just read. What ignited the healed process was a quote. I randomly read it on Instagram. So for anyone who's listening and you're like, I've heard that quote, it's not from me. I just happened to read it. It just sparked a little idea in me. And the quote is, a snake bites you. Do you go after the snake, or do you heal the snake bite? And majority of the time, we're taught to go after the snake. We're taught to analyze the snake. Let's label the snake. Is that snake a narcissistic? Is that snake love bombing us? What are all the labels that we can label the snake? It's a mother. That mother of mine, when she was 2 years old, she totally had a trauma, and then she dumped all her trauma on me, and then it's 7 generations. There's all these labels. So we go after the snake. We try to overanalyze the snake. I know I'm being funny with this, but honestly, it's what I did. Like I'm only making fun of myself because I did that.
I think it's important. I mean, it's serious, but we also can't take ourselves so seriously that, it makes it it's unfun.
Yes. So I went after the snake. And when I read that quote, I was like, oh my gosh, I have a snake bite that I have to deal with. That the snake is not going to come back and be like, oh, can I take that venom back from you? Sorry about that. It's slithered on, it's gone on with this life. It just doesn't even think. Majority of the time, people are like, oh, I bet you, I'm so sorry. Oh, I had no idea, because they're unaware of their own trauma and their own wounds and all the things. Just stuff spills out of their mouth that they're like, and you're like, holy buckets, that was like in the dagger. And so I read that quote and I was like, I have a bite. I've got a wound. What is that? And this is like 14 years into my healing. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
like this isn't just like this was the initial 14 years ago. Like this was after burnout, and I realized there has to be something because I felt like I had nothing more to give. And I mean, law says as you give, so you receive. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, what am I giving
Giving,
to?
giving, giving.
Yeah, but I'm giving from an unhealed space. I should talk in
Yes.
past tense because it's been 2 years now. So I dove into all of that, into the wound. What is it? But I healed that aspect of it. And if I could give anyone a gift, it is the healed process because it's only 42 days. So instead of taking a couple years to figure this out
Mhm.
and overanalyze and get sidetracked, I take it day by day, little dose by little dose, concepts, ideas, questions, what to do, how to gently heal the wound instead of being like, throw some stuff against a wall. Okay, that's nice, but let's go inside the wound and let's feel like what's going on.
Mhm.
And I know wound is used a lot now in society, everyday conversation kind of, or your blockages. So if wound is too much, then just, what's deeply hurting you. Can even,
Mhm. It's appropriate, but you're
yeah,
right. I think we use the word, I think we say the word. I don't think we actually understand the meaning behind it and how it
yeah,
actually is affecting us.
yeah.
So
It,
that's a very good
that's
point.
what most people, all the women that I've gotten to work with thus far with the healed process. So I've been in business for 13 years, but I've worked in various forms, but just the healed process and the wound and the emotional releasing and that sort of thing. Um, the women that have worked specifically on that, um, like they've never focused that much on the core wound. Like they've done emotional releasing before. They have done breath work. They've done the techniques and things, but the focus wasn't so honed in
Yeah,
on what was actually causing it all in the first place. So
right. Where it's all these things are great, but it's almost like just putting band-aids on
yeah,
the little boo-boos before
yeah,
you can get to the
yeah,
main I'm going to say the W word, wound.
yeah,
Right.
yes,
So when women come to you, successful women, they've experienced success in their life, whether it's, their career, they've started their own business, they have a successful family life, whatever it is that that's successful to them.
yeah.
When they realize that something's not quite right, what is it? What is it? How are they feeling?
Yeah. So what I found is midlife exhaustion isn't just physical, it's your soul saying, stop hustling. There's another way. And that's what is like, there's this ache inside of you, unfulfilled exhaustion. And it's saying, there's another way of living. There's a new way of living life. There's a new way of doing business because we've been living by achievement rather than by alignment. And so
Yes.
success without soul will always feel empty.
Mhm.
So by midlife, the old way of pushing through isn't sustainable anymore. It
Right.
just
It's like,
we have little F's to give. Like, we're all out. And so
I love it.
and so your soul starts calling louder, asking for more authenticity, ease, and freedom.
It's interesting. You're right. As when we're younger and we're in that hustle mode, right? Because that's what we're taught. You're
Yeah,
in high school, like each year, you're a junior, you're a senior, you're going to go to college, you're a freshman, and and then,
yeah,
you're in that first job and you're hustling because you want to do well and you want to climb the ladder, and you're basically checking off boxes, right? Never celebrating, hey, I did this. Maybe you celebrate for a day. Graduation, we went out, we had a nice meal, we had a bunch of people together. The next day you started work. So,
oh, and if you didn't, you were a loser.
oh
So
yeah, You didn't have
I
a
mean,
job? Oh, you're out of
like,
college?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yep. So by the time we're hitting midlife, and it's interesting because midlife, I think we're gonna at some point we're midlife is gonna have to be like another 10 years later because we're living longer,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, yes, 40 if you live till you're 80 at least, because women are living in their well into their 80s. So if you're 40, yeah, I guess that's midlife. Shoot, that means I'm well beyond midlife, or I'm really in the middle of it. Uh,
I mean, I'm not even at midlife because I know I'm in my 40s, but I plan to live past 100. So
I'm with you
I
because I want to see how this all works out. My life, your life, everything. So I totally get it. But we're in, especially you're in a different place than most of the women who are listening. You realized that you had a wound that you needed to heal. And maybe some of the women who are listening are going, hold on a minute. How do I know? I think you've explained that. It's that feeling of unfulfillment, the burnout, the exhaustion. And it's interesting that you say exhaustion because it is a symptom of midlife, declining estrogen and testosterone and progesterone and all that, increasing cortisol.
yeah,
Um, so, ladies, if when you're listening, understand that that physical piece, the biological piece is real.
yeah.
This other piece is real as well. They go together. It's not one or the other.
Hmm. Yes, for sure. Because I am, we're a whole being.
Mhm.
We have a mind, we have a body, we have a soul. I didn't get that for quite some time. Like I compartmentalized, like I was only a group fitness instructor. So it was all about the body. Then I like quote unquote spiritually woke up. So then I was like, oh, the mind is very powerful. And then I found out I had a soul and I was like, screw the body, who cares, but we're a whole being. So yes, of course you have to take into consideration all the various hormones and the depletion and all the things that are contributing to exhaustion and also soul. Like what's going on? What else are you being called to? If the listener is realizing that they may be out of alignment, I would suggest just pause and listen. Take 5 minutes today, even, and be still and breathe. And if you're able to, you begin to feel this lightness. And maybe you got too much heaviness going on. That's where the heal process can come in. But in those 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, breathe and be still and ask, what does my soul need right now? When I asked myself that yesterday, as I was preparing for our conversation, it's like, have fun. And so I say that because sometimes when I work with people, they're like, okay, so tell me what I'm supposed to do in 10 years. Oh,
Right. So
or should
intense.
I buy this house? Or should I get divorced? Or should I get married? Or like all these like really major decisions. And sometimes like the soul's like, how about you go for a walk?
Start small.
I
But
know.
again, that person, and I get this because I've had this conversation with my young niece. She wanted to know, Dee, what do I need to do to get, to graduate and get this job and to have this kind of life? And I said to her, I remember saying to her, graduate from high school first. And so already so she was 17. At that age, she was already in this hustle mode, like gotta have, check it off.
Yeah.
So for us in midlife, this is an important thing for us to heal and to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, and emotionally. But now let's think of our daughters, our nieces, even our nephews. I have a nephew too. Um, what are we teaching them? Or how can we teach them to live their lives a little differently, more purposefully, and more
I
aligned?
think it's already in them too. What I've
Mm,
seen in my own daughters, now it could be because they're my daughters, but but
I
their
wonder.
friends. Actually, it's why my business is growing so rapidly right now is because the younger generations that are starting work want purpose and profit.
Mhm.
purpose and prosperity, if you will. And so the culture of organizations are shifting to include purpose and or soul or energy and making things more meaningful, because younger generations are already coming into this world knowing, no, I'm not just here to crank on something all day long and push paper and be your robot. I'm not. I came in here with this essence, and I'm not willing to sacrifice this essence for you. And so organizations are needing chief intuitive officers, chief strategic officers, such as myself, that adds in a different viewpoint of soul, of energy, of community, that will not cause people burnout and not cause the turnover. So I feel the younger generation's already coming in with this, knowing it's just us who were born into the hustle, allowing them to actually, and reminding them of that essence of their soul. And that's what I try to do with my girls, at least. Like,
Yeah.
I have a younger one whose school feels hard for her, and the older one, school's really easy. But both of them have their own strengths, and both of them have their own weaknesses. But I keep on reminding both of them to not take on the labels that other people try to place on them, because the only thing that really matters is what their soul and they want to label themselves as. So I think we as adults now can be just reminding and allowing this younger generation to be themselves, and to remind of them of who they really are, and that they are loved, that they are loved, that they have this freedom. So it's our responsibility not to take it away.
Right. And that it's okay. And I think, in this society of social media and bullying and all the craziness, I mean, bullying's been going on for years, right? Forever, but with social media, um, for our kids to know that it's okay to be an individual, it's okay to be you. I
Yeah.
don't think people of my generation, I don't think we really got that. It's kind of what we say, we want diversity. We want you to be different, but we want you to look and we want you to, you can look different. We want you to act the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where organizations in the past really went wrong. Like they had that mission statement, right? This is our mission, very masculine. But now the mission, I mean, there was purpose behind the mission. We are going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think of that, how flat that feels,
Mm-hmm.
like how just driven and unaligned. And I'm thinking of some of the businesses that I worked with when I was in corporate. Wow, what a different experience corporate would be now. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for this younger generation, that they are dictating, how business is being run. And yes, the older generations are like, these kids, they don't know hard work. Well, hard work is great. When we should, we do what we do, right? Everything doesn't have to be so hard. Maybe
No.
that's where I think, where I wish I had that understanding. I wish I
Here's
had
the
that
power.
understanding. I'm just learning that understanding, Sarah.
This just happened to me just this morning.
Okay.
The power of connecting to one's energy, to your own self, instead of plugging into how many posts should I make? Who's doing what? And how many calls do I make? And how can I record it on my Excel spreadsheet? And okay, so the power of really knowing who you are, the power in connecting to your own energy. I got a intuitive hit this morning. Hey, just connect with your own energy this morning. And I was like, stellar. I usually do, but I was intentional with it.
Hmm.
And then I just allowed that energy to permeate outside of me. And I say, connect with whoever needs to be connected to. And then I was like, I would love it if a client just texts me. And immediately when I disconnected or had like not disconnect, as soon as I finished that thought, a client texted me. Hasn't been a client for a couple of years, but
Okay.
she texted me. Hey, I've got this job opportunity. We talked about it 2 years ago, but things have changed now. What do you think? Can you possibly check in with my soul, with spirit? Some people call it spirit, some people call it divine, universe, God. Like it, I don't care what they call it. So she called it
Mhm.
spirit. I said, yeah, sure. I'll check in. I checked in, got an answer, got some guidance, shared it with her. And I said, after I shared it with her, I had the thought, been nice if I got paid. Because and sometimes we just ask for things, and I was like, I guess I left that part out. And immediately when I finished that thought, she goes, hey, what's your Venmo?
Ah,
And so I sent it to her and she sent me a very nice payment.
very nice. Thank you, Sarah.
And she was like, thank you so much. Like, I just love you. And so there are people out there. It's like, I think that's also part of the cultural shift and making it with ease. What is it that we really want? Do we want the hustle? Do we want the hard? Like if we're working in our companies and we're like, oh man, I'm putting together this retreat and it's going to be such a learning experience and it's going to be really hard and I don't know what I'm doing. Then you are putting that out there. That's what you're asking for.
Mhm.
But you're like, really like a new client. Oh, you know what? I like that $50,000 contract to come through. How would you like it to? An email, like email referral would be great. Oh, all right, cool. I taught this to a gal. I taught this in 2020, a lot to networking groups just for free.
Sure.
And I showed them how to listen to divine guidance. There's 5 steps. I'll share it here. Allow, ask, receive, trust, and act in that order. All right. So you can mark it down. You can replay it. You can stop, whatever you want. I
We'll
showed
put that in
this
the show notes.
and I showed this to a marketing firm. And she was like, man, I would love it if this IT company would hire me to do their rebranding. And she's like, but it's like $100K contract because I'm going to be, their contractual fractional. I can't think of the right words to use. Fractional CMO. And I was like, let go of that business of the story. Just, is that what you want? You want this IT company that you've been talking to hire you for 100 grand for the contract? And she's like, yeah, okay. So you're going to open yourself up. You're going to ask, I would like the IT company to pay me 100 grand for the contract. You're going to receive, you're going to receive it because you just asked for it. And then you're going to trust and you're going to act on it. So if there's like something that happens, like, you get a divine nudge, hey, make sure you give them a call by 4 o'clock today. Just let them know that you're thinking of them. Then I would suggest making the call.
Mhm.
She messages me a week later and she's like, get out of town. They are my client. So that 5 steps, go ahead and use it. It could be it could be your 100 grand. It could be your $1 million idea. I don't, you do you.
And then everybody, once all that happens, you email Sarah and you say thank you, and then maybe get another later.
And I'll show you how to make your life even more full of ease and joy and glory.
Well, something that you and I talked about about I don't know, a week and a half ago that totally changed the way I was thinking about. So when I was doing the module videos, I was revising videos, and for some reason it felt heavy, and I don't know why. I think I just had this negative thought process around it. I'm like, oh, I have all of these. I have 32 videos to do. And you simply asked me why I was doing it. And I gave you all of the masculine answers. I want to do this because, it's, to create more strategy and flow and, all of the things that I have to do and go high level. And you said, that's great, but why are you really doing it?
Yeah.
And the words that popped out of my mouth are things that I have said to myself, but I'd never actually said out loud. And that was to help midlife women feel whole again.
Mhm.
Simply saying that out loud made doing those videos so different. I came about it in a different, with a different energy,
Yeah.
a completely different thought process. And I realized that these videos are me. So my personality needs to come out. It's not about being perfect because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And it made it so much more fun. There are times in the video I have the script and I'm using it to a degree, but I can go down a rabbit hole. And I laugh at myself, and it's okay because this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to help people feel whole. And if I'm standing there as, this stiff person, who wants to learn from that person? You want to learn from the person like you who smiles and laughs at themselves.
Yeah, for sure. And I've fallen for that trap, like in my own mind of like, I have to be perfect and this is how I have to do it. And I've been disconnected from projects before. I think we all have, but the question, and if other people want to write it down, it was given to me during a book project, and it was by the time, so you're speaking to your ideal client. So you imagine your the client that just completely fills you up. And you just ask, by the end of this book, by the end of this chapter, by the end of this video, by the end of this series, whatever you're making, by the end of this, we'll say book, I want you to feel, and go into your client's feeling and how you what do you want them to experience and how do you want them to feel, and that will bring out the deeper why. And so that's what I did with you, and so I just wanted to share that little piece, because it just has helped me as well. Like when I did the 144 wealth codes and I channeled them, and it was then time to put it out in the book. I mean, I could have got wrapped up into who's going to buy it and how am I going to have the team and all the things about me, but I connected to the bigger why. And I wanted people to no longer be in lack. I wanted them to have the freedom of free from past teachings, emotional stuff from like society and like how we think of wealth and abundance. And I just wanted people to think about it differently and have a new way of receiving and receiving with ease. That book actually came because someone said to me, well, it's always been part of my soul. That's also what I learned. But a client asked me, Sarah, how do I move from overwhelm into opulence? And I was like, well, I don't actually have an answer for you at this very moment, but give me until next week's session and I will give you an answer. And so I sat with it throughout the week. And then Divine said to me, well, there's 144 wealth codes to unlock the abundance within. So
I'm just going to do this one more time. So this is the book that we're talking about, 144 wealth codes. This book sits next to my bed. I open it every morning randomly. There are 144, but for some reason, this is how it works for me. I randomly just go to a page, and I'm always amazed that the one that is chosen, the wealth code that is chosen for me, or sometimes I'll do 3 in a day. It's so appropriate to what I'm thinking or feeling or experiencing at that time.
Yes.
So, Sarah, thank you for bringing
You're
the
so
144 wealth codes to us.
welcome.
And there will be a link in the show notes so everybody can get this amazing book. So we need to close up at this point, but before we do, I want you to talk a little bit more about the healed process, the 42-day journey.
Okay. It is a way for you. So anyone who has been feeling pulled in different directions, feel like they're being called into this new identity. Maybe they've identified with themselves as the youngest, the fixer, the perfectionist, Maybe they have identified with not being good enough, or they're not worthy enough. And something in them is like, I can no longer be this person, but I don't know how to become that woman. And so I put together 42 days, and the healed process came to me because I was told by divine that I needed to step into a new identity. And I didn't know what that identity was. And Archangel Uriel appeared to me, and in fire wrote on the ceiling, your new identity. So new identity, colon, and then in caps, healed. And what we need to, what, as soon as that came to me, as soon as it was in all caps, I'm like, oh, it's an acronym for health, alignment. I'm sorry, health, emotional freedom, alignment, listening to divine guidance, empowerment, and deciding to live a healed life. So the part of deciding to live a healed life is when we get stuck in the mindset that we are always a work in progress. We tell others, the universe, ourselves, that we are not enough, that there's something wrong with us, that we're always in progress, and there's always going to be something to be fixed. Yeah, it's a great statement to be humble, but if someone is wanting more, so a lot of times women come to me knowing that they're meant for more, more abundance, more love, more happiness, more like better health. And when you know that you're meant for more, but you keep projecting and talking about, I'm just a work in progress. And once I say it now, you're going to pay attention. It is everywhere. It is in TV shows, books, random folks will say it. Oh, I'm just a work in progress. I'm just a work in progress, because we've been taught it. And we've been taught to stay humble. But what I'm inviting you to do is to step into a healed life. And that is saying to yourself, I am whole. I've had nothing more to fix. I was placed in this body during this lifetime for a reason. And I'm dedicated to figuring that out and living it out, because I'm made whole. I'm not parts of somebody else's beliefs. I'm going to take on the belief that I am a whole, healed, loving, strong woman, because majority of the women I work with, it's more majority is women. So it's just a mindset shift, and you get out of lack and into your more, like into that abundance. So if you want to be receiving with ease, you want to get out of overwhelm. If you want to get out of burnout, that's what living healed is all about. It's 42 days. I broke it down, and people are like, can you really be healed in 42 days? Like, and if you tried everything, a lot of people come to me and be like, God, I've tried everything, Sarah. Have you ever tried not giving up?
I applaud you on that. Yes, you're right. Wow. That was so great. I'm emotional over here. So thank you for that. Before we go, Sarah, please let our audience know how they can find you.
sarahsparks.love. That's the best way. You can email me there, all my services, all of the social media, but sarahsparks.love. And Sarah is SARAH and then Sparks. So, yep.
And that's .love, everyone. Is that not appropriate? Sarah, thank you so much for being here. For our listeners, thank you for joining us for another episode. We are always here to give you insight, education, information, and anytime you have a question, certainly put comments in wherever you're seeing this, if it's on YouTube or if it's on any kind of podcast. Send me a comment, send me some questions, and I'll get back to you. And we will certainly love to have Sarah back again in the future. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Healthy Living, Happy Midlife. My hope is that today's conversation left you inspired, encouraged, and ready to take the next step toward creating a vibrant, fulfilling life that you deserve. Remember, you don't have to settle for fatigue, brain fog, or frustration. Midlife is not the end of your story. It's the doorway to your next best chapter. And I'm here to help you walk through it with energy, with confidence, and with joy. So if you're ready to take this journey further, I invite you to schedule a free strategy call with me. The link is in the show notes. And together we'll design a plan that works for you at this time in your life, for your body. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast platform. Catch the video version on YouTube so you never miss another episode. Share it with a friend who needs to hear that midlife can truly be the most powerful season of her life. Until next time, I'm Denise Stegall, reminding you that healthy living, happy midlife is not just possible, it's yours for the